Hey Glam Squad, it's Glamour Girl and it's time for gossip, girl. Okay, so we're here to talk about Cardi B versus Azealia Banks and all that shit that blew up on the internet about 2 days ago, okay? So basically there was a Breakfast Club interview with Azealia Banks, and you know how DJ Envy and Charlamagne like to stir the motherfucking pot. So of course DJ Envy is going to ask Azealia what she said about Cardi. And basically she was just like, I feel that because she's lighter, she's gotten farther than she should be in her career, because there's women really out here in female rap that's putting pen to paper and really care about the craft, and you're just really not that talented and you have all the success. That is what she said, okay? So Cardi comes back and responds, and this is what Miss Cardiff says. Okay, let's get into it. I've reread this a couple of times for the Aquilas and the B's out there. A woman who constantly finds joy in belittling black women, Beyonce, Rihanna, Sky Jackson, Remy Ma, can't try and stand for them because it's convenient. The difference between me and you, I've never pretended to be or represent someone I'm not. I've made it where I am for being myself and staying true to that. I'm not trying to represent nobody but myself. You busy trying to be the voice of reason and a representative for women of color when you can't even reason with yourself. You can't understand where your insecurities come from and why you're not happy in your own skin. So you think because you can't figure out your shit that you can create confusion for me, make me unsure about who I am. I know who I am. A daughter to a Hispanic father and a Caribbean mother, and I am proud of that. I've never dismissed my heritage or my culture. I've never pretended to sound like anyone or look like anyone for attention, or make myself feel better about who I'm not. I've been this way always. You think because someone uses a lot of big words and long sentences that makes them smart? How smart are you if you don't know that the meaning of illiterate means to not know how to read or write? I can do both and speak 2 languages fluently. Just because I mix up a few words and forget how to use commas or misspell a few words doesn't make me illiterate and doesn't make me stupid. And because I laugh a little harder and talk a little louder doesn't make me a caricature. You think you're advocating for women and you're doing the opposite. I pray you find peace of mind in your own heart and reason in your own mind. Pray for your own success before you pray for the downfall of others. Whew, y'all, she has some points. Y'all, okay? She has some really good points. Azealia Banks does come for everybody, and she's very problematic in that sense. And Azealia Banks did start bleaching her skin. She did. We're gonna get into why Azalea's problematic here in a minute, but I want to read what Azealia said before we get into why they're both problematic, right? Okay, so here is what Miss Azealia Banks said, okay? So, Bacallis, hopefully I said that right. Sis, give it up. You have fever and are leaking breast milk everywhere trying to come up with a refutable comeback. Sis spent 12 hours proofreading the message while still completely missing the point. You and whoever wrote this for you don't have the intelligence to engage in this not so complex discussion. I spoke about it for all of 2 minutes in an interview, and you respond by calling me unattractive, mentioning my bleaching my skin, and telling me to suck your ass. Immediately proving yourself to be exactly who I thought you were. A bird. Sis, let us not forget that you look like a big toe with a hammer nail without all that contour on your face. You are a very mediocre looking light-skinned woman with cold sores on the sides of her mouth, a coated tongue you love to wag around, and horribly deep-set eyes. For your information, I bleached my skin due to a severe breakout I had from the Depo-Provera shot. Some dark-skinned women have problems with hyperpigmentation, and it can take years for our scars to fade. Once again, you missed the point. The color of my skin has absolutely nothing to do with the greater discussion surrounding Black women's culture and our representation in the media. From what I know, you have always identified as Latina. You only recently began to identify as Black once you became a part of hip-hop and felt pressured to represent the woman you so often called burnt, bald-headed roaches. Even so, it's clear that you have a problem with this newfound proximity to blackness, as evidenced by your propensity to turn any and all attempts to engage you in these important cultural discussions into faux sympathetic crybaby rants about how you're just a dumb bitch from the hood who never asked to be a role model. Reverse psychology will not work here. As a Black woman in hip hop, it is imperative that you use your newfound Black womanhood responsibly. Saying things to Rolling Stone like, I don't even use condoms, when HIV remains a threat to many minority girls who patronize your music, is irresponsible. I suggest you leave these types of cultural conversations alone for now. You don't have the range. Okay, I mean, tea was spilled, okay. It was just facts on facts. I mean, Cardi said some shit that was real, but I mean, Azealia just hit her with a bust of facts, okay? So, basically, you know, I get what Azealia's trying to say, because Cardi did just start, you know, claiming her Blackness. If you go back to Instagram and shit like that, she never, you know, was like, oh, I'm Black, I'm this. She claimed her Latina heritage, and there's nothing wrong with this or that, but, you know, she just called her out on, look, you just now started to claim your Blackness when people called you out on it because your mom is West Indian, and many West Indians have African heritage. So they were like, and she didn't really start saying it until everybody was like, well, why are you calling Black girls cockroaches and shit like that? And personally, for me, I've never in my life heard Cardi say that she's Black. I've always heard her say, oh, we're all from Africa, and that don't hold no weight with me, because, you know, white people say the same shit when they want to say nigga. So that whole we all from Africa shit don't really work with me. But anyways, I've never heard her say she's Black. I've just kind of seen people thrust it upon her, you know? So, you know, Azealia is terrible. She's a terrible human being. She just is. I'm so sorry. Let's get into it. Just a couple of weeks ago, she was talking about Cupcake. You know, she was saying that she needed a breast lift and this is that, and the third. And Cupcake was real calm and cool and collected about it. And she was like, I hope sis ain't talking about me. So then they got like in the DMs or texting each other or something, and Cupcake posted all this shit. And she was just a bitch about it. But she was saying, oh, I wasn't talking about you on my Snap story or Instagram story, whatever it was, but I mean, you should get your titties done though. Like, girl, are you fucking serious? But okay, girl, okay. She talked about Sky Jackson, who's a teenager, a child. She's come for Nicki, she's come for B, she's come for everybody. You know, she said she supported Trump at one point in time, and if you watch the full YouTube interview, you can go and just literally Azealia Banks Breakfast Club interview, and you can go watch it. Actually pause this shit right now and go watch it. Anyways, so if you watched it, she said that she supported him at first because she just wanted the tax break, and then she realized all the crazy shit he was doing, and she was like, oh fuck, I fucked up. But I mean, you know, she just does all these crazy things, and then on top of that, she uses not the racial slur, she uses the derogatory slur for gay people, even though that is her core fan base. So that always confused me. But all of that to say, this video right here is about colorism, right? And I'm glad that Azealia brought all this shit up, because I was already going to do a colorism video on Cardi, and the topic was going to be Cardi and Azealia. It really was. So I'm glad that all this came up, so now it's relevant again. So, as I was just saying, Azalea's a horrible person. But I mean, let's get into Cardi. Cardi isn't that much better. You know, Cardi has used the derogatory slur for trans people. She has sat there and defended her baby daddy / fiance when he said he don't fuck with queers. What else did she do? She called this black girl, as I had mentioned before in this video, and I will link the video because I did a whole video on it. I will link it down below. She did she sat there and called a black girl a fucking cockroach. And then when this guy came in and was like, you can't call people that, especially black people, because they have a history of being called that in their community. And basically she came at him calling him, and he was Middle Eastern, so she came at him calling him a fucking sand nigga. Like, you cannot do those things when people are just trying to educate you. You shouldn't do them, period, point blank, period. But you know, to do that is just when people are trying to be like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that, sis. It makes no sense. And then, I mean, like, anytime she says something crazy or offensive, you know, people try and correct her, and she's just like, well, fuck y'all, this is that, and third, cusses them out. And it be fans, like, they'll be like, I've been fucking with you since X, Y, and Z, I buy Bodak this many times, blah, 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 blah. And she just, like, doubles down in her stupidity. And it's just like, girl, like, she does the same exact thing that Azealia does, because Azealia doubles down on her stupidity whenever she does something stupid too. They're doing the same exact things. But, you know, Cardi has more success in her career because she is lighter, because of colorism. And, you know, this brings me to the Azealia Negra interview that they did on the Breakfast Club. And when Charlamagne was like, but I mean, Cardi's Latina, you're Latina, Cardi's successful, so you can't say that, you know, Latinas are successful. And Amara was like, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, because she is lighter, that's why she's being so received so well in the States and stuff like that. And that is the point of colorism. Colorism does have to do with your race and your nationality and things like that, but for the most part, it's, yes, we have the same race, we have the same ethnicity, but you have a lighter skin tone than me, so you are accepted more you're accepted on a wider scale in society than I am, because my skin is darker, even though we have the same heritage, even though we have, you know, the same ethnicity, the same race, whatever it may be. And that's what she was trying to explain, and it's seen right here in this scenario. And after her interview, you know, Cardi B's sister Hennessy wants to come up and be like, oh, it's not because of my sister's skin that she's popping, she works her ass off. I'm not gonna take that from Cardi. Cardi works her motherfucking ass off, okay? Like, we have seen her go from fucking hosting club nights and being on Instagram to performing at Coachella in 2 years. The bitch works her ass off, okay? She just does. But along the way, she has done a whole bunch of fucked up shit that if she was just a couple shades darker, she wouldn't have no career. She would be stuck on fucking Love and Hip Hop with the rest of them bitches that she left. Just point blank, period. And that's all I'm trying to say, is that, you know, this colorism shit is benefiting her. So, hey, you know, that's all I'm saying. Okay, sorry, needed to change my battery, so I did that. Anyways, yes, and then Azealia also made a really good point, and when people call Cardi out on her bullshit, she always wants to be like, oh, I'm just from the hood, y'all. I mean, I don't really know nothing, you know, okay, that's all fine, that's all dandy, that's all good. But you're no longer in the hood, and you haven't been in the hood in a long ass time, sis. Like, you just haven't. So the fact that you're still using that is some bullshit. And in the past 2 years, you have seen more than niggas from the hood will ever see in their fucking life. Than people who just grew up, you know, in regular neighborhoods and circumstances will never see in their life. You have been exposed to so much culture in the past fucking 2 years that for you to still use that excuse is invalid. And the fact that you haven't absorbed, you know, these different cultures and realize that certain people may find things offensive is just, it's ignorant. And it just shows that you don't care about being offensive to motherfuckers who are giving you money. That's all I'm trying to say, girl, is, you know, you're offending motherfuckers. You got a pretty big fucking LGBT community. So for you to sit there and say the slur for transsexuals, or for you to sit there and, use the slur for, not use the slur for queer people, but basically, defend your baby daddy when he said he don't fuck with queer people, and then to sit there and call a dark-skinned black woman a cockroach, when all three of these are large fucking parts of your core fan base. Yes, the white people fuck with you, cool, whatever. But this, we got you here, bitch. That's all I'm trying to say, is we got you to where they gave a fuck about you. So the fact that you just don't give a fuck about offending them is really, really strange. Which we go back to Azealia Banks. She sits there and just throws out the F word left and right. Like she's on fucking Oprah. You can F word, you can F word, you can F word. And we all know what F word I'm talking about. We do. So, and it's not fuck, So, it's just like she is offending her core fan base. And her core fan base still fucks with her. But the media as a whole does not fuck with her. She should be more successful than she is. Because everybody that does still fuck with Azealia is like, she's one of the best rappers that's been out in the past couple of years. Her wordplay, her this, her that, her flow. Like, they're like, her technical skills are out of this fucking world. And, I mean, Cardi makes some bangers, but we all know that the shit isn't, we know somebody's in the studio helping Cardi, right? And from her to go, like, Gangsta Bitch Music Volume 1 and 2 weren't that good. Like, they had some cute little songs that you could bop to, but I was really surprised by Invasion of Privacy, and I could tell somebody helped her write that shit. Because it was leaps and bounds better than her mixtapes. And, I mean, Bodak Yellow was really, really good, but the rest of her singles weren't that good. They just weren't. So, for Invasion of Privacy to be as good as it was, you can tell somebody was in the motherfucking studio helping her. And, for somebody who is, yes, Azealia Banks is offending her core audience, but her core audience is like, but the bitch got skills. And she's not allowed to share her talent and things like that because of all the shenanigans she gets into in the media. She's a chocolate girl. This light bright yellow girl Cardi B gets into all these shenanigans in the motherfucking media. She'll argue with people on the internet. She'll drop her address and say, bitch, pull up, let's fight on fucking Instagram. Like, just for all your fans and business partners to see. You get into all the same shenanigans that Azealia Banks gets into. And yet, you are on the Jimmy Kimmel Show. You're co-hosting the Jimmy Kimmel Show. You're on SNL. You're, in an Amazon commercial. You are all over the place. You're doing fucking, wasn't it Steve Madden that she did a shoe collection with? She's like about to do a collection with Fashion Nova. Like, she just has all these opportunities when you are just as fucking problematic as Azealia Banks. Just as problematic, and it makes it so hard for me to listen to her music anymore. And in the video that I link below, I talk about how much I used to love her. And when I say used to, I mean used to, because it's really hard to rock with Cardi because she just does a whole bunch of shit, and then when you call her out on it and try to educate her, she acts like she's being attacked. And one of my most annoying one of the most annoying things about her album was on Best Life with fucking Chance the Rapper, when she was like, what was the line? Cardi's so problematic was the hashtag. Can't believe they want to see me lose that bad. Bitch, don't nobody want to see you lose. We want to see you win. We want to see you continue to win. That's why we're telling you can't call people cockroaches on the motherfucking internet. That's why we're sitting here telling you can't get on Instagram Live and sit here and defend your dumbass baby daddy when he said he can't vibe with queers. That's what we're trying to tell you. Ain't nobody coming for your ass. We're trying to educate you, but you don't want to hear that shit. So yeah, it's hard to rock with your ass. It just is. Point blank, period. And I'm the same bitch that literally cried when I saw her on the stage at OVO. Like, the biggest nigga in hip-hop right now. Like, that nigga's #1 in hip-hop right now. He acknowledged you as being hot. Like, yes, I have been following her on Instagram for years. So to see her get there, it was just like, I was mind blown. And I was like, yes, this bitch works hard as hell. So we're not taking that from you. We're just saying you get into the same bullshit that Azealia gets into. They are literally the same fucking person. It's just she's chocolate and she's not. I mean, that is what it is, And another thing about her always crying and claiming, oh, I'm from the hood, oh, I'm from the hood. You know, there are plenty of people from the hood that have, you know, left the hood and learned how to adapt to how things are outside of the hood, you know, because I didn't grow up in the hood, but I didn't grow up with money either. So I definitely had to learn how to code switch between the two. And I definitely know that certain conversations aren't meant for public consumption. Certain conversations are meant to be private. And she's having these public conversations, these private conversations in public. And then when they offend people, she's pissed off that they're offended. Like, you know. Like, I don't know. And it's frustrating. Yes, I don't see it for Azealia at all. Like, her music, I don't even think it's that good. It's not for me, but her fans love it. They rock to the shit. So it's just like, she has a fan base. She has somebody who wants to listen to it. She should be farther in her career than she is. And yes, she has kind of shot herself in the foot, but Cardi has shot herself in the foot a few times, all within just a couple of months, you know? But she doesn't have to ever, you know, there's no repercussions for it because she still has all this fucking success. She's still winning. So that's all I'm saying. There is colorism. It's a real thing, you know, and we need to start addressing it because anytime it's brought up on Twitter, people are like, no, that's not a thing. It's a thing. We need to start addressing it. Point blank, period. One last thing. Well, two things. When Azealia said that Cardi's a caricature, she's not. That's Cardi. That's who she's been since Instagram. She's over the top. She's loud. Whatever. But, I mean, yes, that's who you are, Cardi. But if somebody a few shades darker than you would act like that, they would be, you know, a welfare queen. They would be hood. They would be, you know, they would be every derogatory, racist thing that people could think of. You know, they wouldn't be worthy to be a representative for rap. They wouldn't be worthy to be the face of something. They wouldn't be worthy of representation at all whatsoever. You know, so for you to be allowed to have that freedom, to be this carefree individual when the rest of black women, which you just started claiming, the rest of black women have to be so guarded and have to always think about how we are represented and, well, not how we're represented, but how we represent ourselves. And, oh, well, if I act like this, am I going to be the angry black woman? If I act like this, am I, like, that's a freedom that you have that we don't. And I understand that I have certain freedoms that somebody darker than me doesn't have. So being brown skinned, I've realized that I have certain privileges that a dark skinned black woman doesn't have. So I don't understand why light skinned people can't ever see that privilege, but that's neither here nor there either. So yeah, I mean, sorry guys, I know this is so long, but there was just so much to unpack in this video. I'm hurrying and this is like, I'm wrapping up, okay? So yes, like I was saying, you know, she's over the top, that's who she is, but she's allowed to be that way because of her skin color. She's allowed to be carefree because of her skin color. Because if you go back and remember when Nicki first came out, like, yes, she was popular and she was all over the place, but people really, like, talked bad about fucking Nicki, and, like, people called her crazy and people didn't give her the time of day. But once she, like, cleaned her shit up, and once she got on American Idol and stopped wearing the crazy wigs, and once she, you know, started wearing the black, like, once her wigs weren't crazy no more, once she stopped with all the voices and shit, and they were like, okay, bitch, we'll let you be A-list. We'll let you be this, that, and the third. Like, we accept you now. Like, if you remember prior to when the crazy wigs was happening and the crazy ass performances was happening, Nicki wasn't popping in mainstream like that. She just wasn't. So it's just funny how how Nicki had to become polished. And Nicki ain't even that damn dark, y'all. Nicki barely brown skin, like, for real. Nicki light, but she's darker than Cardi is, you know? So it's like Nicki had to become polished in order for mainstream media to accept her, no matter how many, you know, no matter how many number ones she had, or no matter how many popping singles she had to become polished in order for them to accept her. But Cardi can just be as rough as she wants to. She can be as unpolished. She can do all these things, and then Cardi doesn't want anybody to call her out on it. Cardi doesn't want anybody to say, you know, you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't say any of this, because then we're attacking her. And it's just like, girl, no. We just want you to not be offensive, because you already have all these privileges and you already have all of these, you know, advantages. You can't offend us too, girl. You just can't. Because for real, like, the fact that like your mixtapes weren't that good and now all of a sudden, you know, you have other people writing for you and now they're comparing you to Nicki Minaj, like, that's a privilege. That's an advantage, girl. Because I can't remember any other female rappers that they started just immediately comparing to fucking Nicki Minaj. Like, I'm just sorry, they didn't. You know, not within the past 5 years. Please in the comments correct me if I'm wrong. But like, they're over here kicking Nicki out the damn way for Cardi. And it's like, Nicki did bring fucking female rap back. Nothing was happening before Nicki came in. And then on top of that, she took it somewhere else. Like, it wasn't mainstream like it is now. She made it pop. She made it pop music, and she made it to where you can really get money off this shit. So it's just like she transformed the shit, you know? So it's just like, for you to be in the game and only really be doing this for maybe a year and a half, for you to sit there and now the media is building you up to be an equal with Nicki, girl, I can get where Azealia's coming from, where it's like, there's bitches who's really caring about their craft and they're not getting no shine. I can see that shit. So basically, the moral of this story is colorism is a thing. Her and Azealia are the same fucking person. Her and Azealia Banks are the same motherfucking person. It's just Cardi gets different treatment because she looks closer to what white people are comfortable with, you know? She looks more like them than me or Nicki or Azealia Banks looks, you know? So they could accept all the hood and all the ghetto shit in her. But, you know, over here, Azalia's just as problematic. But, you know, she was just like begging for money a couple months ago, y'all. So that is the moral of that. And then the second moral, almost just as important, is Cardi, you have all these advantages and you're winning and you're this and that. So you can't sit there and get mad when people are like, girl, this is offensive. You can't say that about people. Maybe you should just pipe down and stop saying this, because you can't have all these privileges and all these advantages that people who have been grinding for years to be in female rap and to be at the top of the game have been trying to do, and then get mad when people are like, girl, you're offending us too. You can't have all the advantages and all the privileges and then get mad when people are like, hey, we give you our money, we support you, but you can't offend us. Okay? So that's the second moral, which I think is the biggest moral. And I think that's why I'm so mad. Like, girl, just stop offending us. Like, because I'm not going to give you my money if you offend me. Like, I can barely listen to the album any fucking more. Like, but that little last part was just my personal rant. So, like I said, I'm so sorry it's so long, but there was just so much to unpack, and I was already going to talk about this colorism thing with Cardi versus Azealia. So then the interview and the Instagram post just added more information to talk about. So please like, comment, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, okay? And comment down below. What do you think? Do you think Azalia's right? Do you think Cardi's right and she should just shut the fuck up and leave her alone? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. And I will see you guys. Oh, no. Let me tell you where you can follow me and find me at, y'all. Follow me on Instagram at Gorgeous Glamour. Follow me on Twitter at Glamour Girl. For my newbies, Glamour is GLAMHER. And I started a new Instagram, so go follow me on Instagram. I don't have no followers right now, guys, so go follow me on Instagram. And I will see you guys in my next video.